Hello everyone. Today I am back on my channel with the last part of chapter number 1, chemical reactions and equations. And our today's topic is oxidation and reduction. But before that, I would like you all to like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel. So now we will move towards our topic, oxidation and reduction. What is oxidation? Oxidation, in this picture you can see that a railway carriage is there and it is not a regular carriage, it is completely rusted, right? So why this happens, how this happens, and why it only happens to metal? So the answer is oxidation, right? When a substance gains electrons, or in general terms if we talk about CBSE board, so when a substance gains oxygen then it undergoes oxidation, right? If I gave you an example, that is here in this example copper reacts with oxygen, so it is forming copper oxide. So earlier the copper was alone, but now it is having oxygen with it in the product, right? So this is called oxidation. The simple definition of oxidation: when a substance gains oxygen, it undergoes oxidation. And this is the example you can write in your board exams as well. Now, if this is oxidation, then there must be something on the back of the end, and that is reduction, right? What is reduction? Addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. It is exactly the opposite of oxidation. Oxidation is addition of oxygen and reduction is removal of oxygen. That is called reduction, right? The example is like here you can see CO2 is there, but it is forming CO only, carbon monoxide, as a product. So here you can say that there are two oxygens, but on this product side we are having a single oxygen. So this is called reduction. Okay. Now moving towards our terms to understand. Oxidation and reduction are completely related to two of the topics, that is reducing agent and oxidizing agent. And as I'm telling you this, there is no similarity in oxidation and oxidizing agent. Wherever oxidation is there, the substance that loses electron is known as reducing agent. They are completely the opposite of their names. So don't get confused. You have to understand the concept that whomsoever, whatever the compound loses electron is called reducing agent. Okay, and it is getting oxidized, right? If you see CBSE NCRT book, in the exercise portion on the left hand side you see there is a question, very first or I guess second question, that lead is oxidized, carbon mono is reduced, something like that. So this is a type of question in which they can ask you the reducing agent and what is oxidized and what is reduced. So be very careful while understanding the concept. The substance that loses electrons becomes oxidized and known as reducing agent. Similarly, the reduction means gain of electron, and the substance that gains electron is called oxidizing agent and it gets reduced. So there might be so many doubts that who is oxidized, who is reduced, so you have to be very careful. there is a mnemonic that is called O, I and L. R, I, G. Okay, oil rig. What does it means? O for oxidation, I for is, L for loss of electron, R for reduction, I for is, and G for gain of electron, right? The oil rig means oxidation is loss of electron, reduction is gain of electron, and the substance that loses electron is reducing agent and get oxidized. The substance that gains electron is oxidizing agent and get reduced. I hope you understand this concept. Now we will move towards our next slide, that is, see, oxidation and reduction is not only a single step phenomena, or you can classify it in a single way. There are several more ways which are definitely in your higher grade syllabus, but just because they are here, so I just want to clarify it, that loss of electron is oxidation. In other sense, addition of oxygen is also oxidation, removal of hydrogen is also oxidation, and increase in oxidation state is also oxidation. On the same page, when we are having reduction, it is just the opposite of oxidation. Here loss, here gain of electron, here increase in oxidation state, here decrease in oxidation state. Okay, and here addition of oxygen, here removal of oxygen, and here removal of hydrogen, here addition of hydrogen. So this is the thing on which oxidation and reduction is classified. Now moving towards the next slide, that is redox reaction. Okay, so redox itself means whenever we are having a word redox, then the half word is red and other word is ox. So if you see that red means reduction and ox means oxidation. So if you are writing it on the same page, then you can say when reduction and oxidation occurs simultaneously, this is called redox reaction. It means one substance is donating electron and other substance is accepting the electron. That is called redox reaction. Okay, if you are supposed to write a complete definition, a chemical process involving the transfer of electrons between species where one substance loses electron, gets oxidized, and other substance gains electrons is reduced. So this is called redox reaction. Here this picture you can see is of an example which is very well demonstrating that how electrons are transferred from A to B. Okay. Now, next is redox in our daily life. As you all know that chemistry or science is a subject in which we can see all the things in front of us. Like whatever the things are happening is basically a chemical reaction, right? So for redox reaction in our daily life, a very important example is, why do apples turn brown after cutting? You all have eaten apple, and the layer of brown color deposited after some time. Why it happens, right? This is because of rancidity, right? Now, if you see this bicycle, so this bicycle is completely covered with a brown color dust. What happened to the bicycle? The answer is rusting. So now we will move towards two very different words, rancidity and rusting. Let's move. Corrosion is a natural process where deterioration due to chemical reaction with their surrounding. When the metal react with the surrounding, this is called corrosion, right? But when The specific term for iron or steel, here there is a very huge difference. Corrosion is happening for all metals, whereas rusting is especially for iron and steel. Okay, the specific term for the corrosion of iron and steel resulting in flaky reddish brown iron oxide, this is called rusting, right? Next is rancidity, very different word. The process where the fats and oils present in food react with oxygen and hydrolyze with water over time, leading to unpleasant smell and taste. This is called rancidity. One example I would like to give you all that you must have eaten potato chips, but have you ever wondered that which gas is filled inside it? That is nitrogen. Why not oxygen? And when we open the chips packet and leave it for some days, then the stale chips we got. Why this happens? If that packet is packed and kept in the shop, then it can last for months, but when it's open it cannot stay for few weeks. What is happening in that? It is because oxygen reacts with the oils and fats present in the food and make them unpleasant smell and taste. This is called rancidity, and this is one of the example of reduction and oxidation in the same phenomena, right? So now we will move towards the difference between rusting and corrosion. See, if you see rust, it is a brown powder, whereas corrosion is eating up of metal and it is completely gone, like it's not there, the layers are destroyed. But here the layers are not destroyed, they are just converting into amorphous powder. So rust is a type of corrosion that occurs when iron and other metals react with oxygen in air, whereas corrosion refers to a general weakening of metal as a result of various forms of chemical attack on them, right? So this is the picture in which you can differentiate the difference between rust and corrosion. Next is rusting of iron, right? Rusting of iron is the oxidation of iron. Oxidation of iron forming a reddish brown hydrated ferric oxide, rust, when iron reacts with oxygen and water, a process requiring both. This is going to make a deep sense. Like if you are having hydrated ferric oxide and you just have oxygen with you, so it's not going to have rust at all. There should be oxygen plus water. Water means moisture. It should not only be water in liquid state. It is oxygen and water in the form of moisture. Then only it results rusting, right? So now the thing is this, rusting of iron, but for other metals it's corrosion. Okay, so now we will move towards the example, and the example is not the example but the equation is very important for your board exams. So here you see a perfect and new nail is there, here oxygen is there, moisture is there, and now it's flaky substance, right? So this is called rusting. Okay, here Fe2O3, this is ferric oxide, and XH2O means depends on the humidity. Whatever the water molecules are there, you have to write only those water molecules, but generally we write X depending on the humidity of the atmosphere. Okay, now move towards our next topic, that if the corrosion is there, suppose we tried our best to avoid corrosion, but still it is there, then how can we prevent it? So the very first thing is painting. We will apply grease, we will apply painting and apply oil on the surface so that it can prevent corrosion. But what if it is a hard one? Then we have to go for galvanization. Very most asked question in board exams. What is galvanization? It is the process of coating a specific substance, that is zinc, on any of the metal surface which you have to protect. Why? Because zinc forms a protective layer and also prevents corrosion even if the coating is damaged. Even if the coating is damaged, then also zinc can protect the surface. Okay, so this is for galvanization. Now one more way to, like, if we don't want to we don't have zinc, or we don't have that much of application of zinc, then we can go for alloying. Alloying means mixing of metal with one another. When two or more other substances, metals and non-metals, can be done to improve its properties such as strength, hardness and resistance, this is called alloying. You must have seen stainless steel in your home. Earlier we used to have iron utensils, but why we avoided that? Because we cannot keep the curd and the acidic substances in those utensils. It causes damage and makes the smell and the taste and also the chemical composition of the food damage, right? So to avoid that loss, we converted into stainless steel, and stainless steel is not a metal, it is a mixture of metals and non-metals together, so this is called alloying. Okay, so we generally use alloying for the protection of the substance or the layer. Okay, now one more is there, you can write this also. Cathodic protection is a method of preventing corrosion in which a more reactive metal is attached to carbon, like using electricity electrolysis process. We are going to do that. Iron is coated with any other reaction, any other metal, so that the attacked metal corrodes instead of iron. So whatever the corrosion is going to be, is going to be there, it is only be attacked by that particular metal, not by iron. So iron is safe in that hand. Okay, so this is it for methods of preventing corrosion. Now I would like that if you really like the content, kindly like, subscribe, comment and share my channel Learn Together 2026. I hope you have learned something. God bless you and all the very best for your upcoming board exams. Thank you everyone.